Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFL Inspiration for Your Life. I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. This is Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. Great to be with you guys today. Whether you're here with me at 2:25 p.m. live or 2:25 in the AM, or maybe 6 a.m., 6 p.m., or maybe even 12 noon or 12 a.m. Doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate you and making the choice to watch and follow all my great content to inspire and improve your lives. All right, guys. So our master topic for the whole week is understanding how our body relates, interacts with the environment. We're on series 3, show 24, means we're in the third year. But our granular topic for today is understanding how we taste. What is taste? That's probably a good thing. According to our good friends, I'm going to go over to Merriam-Webster, and we're going to look up what she says about taste. So, taste. It is to ascertain the flavor of by taking a little into the mouth is the first definition. To eat or drink, especially in small quantities. To perceive or recognize as if by the sense of taste. To become acquainted with by an experience. So that's the verb. When we think of taste, what we're talking about today is our taste buds, which we'll learn about in just a little bit. How our taste buds actually allow us to enjoy some pretty amazing flavors, and sometimes not so great flavors. All right, guys. So now that we know a little bit about understanding, a little about taste, but how actually do we taste? That's probably the most important thing I want to tell you is how do we taste? And we taste in a very interesting way, which I'm going to describe for you in just a moment, how we actually taste. So tasting is a pretty cool concept. And if you guys are wondering, how do we taste? Well, there's a science to it. So there are taste buds that are the true taste organs, and they have these different sensory cells. And they in turn connect to many different nerve fibers, and each taste bud has between 10 and 50 sensory cells. These cells from a capsule that is shaped like a flower, a bud, or an orange. And first of all, I want to apologize for some of the noise. We've got some dogs here today. Sometimes I shoot from home. Sometimes I'm in the office in the studio. But unfortunately, I can't control the dogs. We're working on fixing that in our next place. We're actually going to be building a sound studio. So I'll be able to be in a room and won't be able to hear neighbors' dogs and things like that. So we're working on that. But I do appreciate you guys bearing with me and still paying attention to this great concept. So as I said, there's about 10 to 50 sensory cells. These cells form a capsule that's shaped like a flower, a bud, or an orange. And so the thing about, people always say, how do we taste? And so I'm going to get a little more into this in a second, but how we taste is these buds, okay? They send signals through 3 cranial nerves to taste regions in the brainstem. The facial glossopharyngeal and the vagus nerves. The impulses get routed through the thalamus and they reach relays of sensory information to other brain regions. So now that we know a little bit about how we taste, it's a pretty remarkable thing how we taste, ladies and gentlemen. It's really pretty cool. So now that we know a little bit about taste and we understand how we taste, the thing I don't know if you guys knew is that, when you're having that cup of soup, or you're having that, let's say, chew on a licorice, or maybe you bite into a delicious milk chocolate, or maybe you try some cheese, maybe brie, or maybe Gouda cheese or whatever, or whether you're having a glass of wine, glass of Prosecco or water, your taste buds allow you to enjoy the flavor. So I don't know if you know this, ladies and gentlemen, but did you know that taste buds are not only on your tongue? That's right. Taste buds are not only on your tongue. So if they're not only on your tongue, where are they? That's right. I said taste buds are not only on your tongue. And so most of them are on your tongue, but there are some that detect tastes that are in other parts of the oral cavity of the mouth, in the back of the throat, the esophagus, the epiglottis, the nasal cavity, and even in the upper part of the food pipe. So taste is not something that we just realize in our mouth. So we start to enjoy the taste, right? People often ask me, can you taste things with your tongue? So despite a lot of people, you can get a taste of something, but it's a little different than if you taste it and then you swallow it, right? Because there's like a connection. Like if you have ice cream, you taste it, tastes good, but then when it kind of goes back to your mouth and it's like you swallow it, there's more to the taste. And if you think about it now, when you have ice cream, it's good when you're licking it, right? But you really don't get the full sensation until it goes down your throat. So I think that's really cool. And so understanding this is really, 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 really cool. So the next thing I want to talk about, because I think it's very important when we think about taste, is what are the taste buds on your tongue and what are they each responsible for? Well, that's a really great, great question. So the tongue has taste buds for bitter, sour, salt, and sweet. So at the tip of your tongue, just a little bit into the tip of your tongue, is the taste buds for sweet. And that's the center. Toward the left and right, just behind that of your tongue, left and right, just a little bit further back, is the salt. Then about maybe a fourth of the way back is the sour glands on the left and the right of your tongue. And then in the very back, probably within just a little bit, maybe a couple inches up from the back of the end of the tongue, you have bitter. And so it's very interesting, when you taste something. I mean, you know what it's like if you taste something bitter, right? What is the most bitter taste you've had? If you think about that for a moment, some people say things like Goya from Japan. Some people say lemon is very bitter. It's interesting, right? And when you pair things like salt and sweet, they taste pretty cool. When you pair things with bitter, they taste good too. But just having something bitter alone is not good. Some vegetables are bitter. Coffee is bitter. Some red wine is bitter. The most bitter fruit, ladies and gentlemen, is the bitter melon. It could be eaten as a vegetable or it could be part of a side dish. But it has a pleasant but yet acidic flavor. And so when we put things like a grapefruit together, we have to mix them with other fruits that are sweet. And it, tones it down, but it makes it have a nice medley of the flavor as opposed to just having like just a grapefruit. That's very, very bitter, right? There are lots of things that are bitter in the world. They say that pickles are very bitter, right? Some pickles are very bitter. Vinegar is bitter. Cucumbers, some cucumbers are bitter. What else is bitter? Black coffee and dark chocolate has a bitterness to it, but because there's a sweet in it, it's like we enjoy the bitter flavor. I mean, I think that's really cool, right? That we can enjoy the flavor of how bitter it is, right? How about celery? Is celery bitter? It has a certain range of bitterness. It's not the most bittery thing out there. So bitter is a part of the flavor scale. All right. Bitter is a poison to some people, even though it's not poison. Anything bitter that people enjoy is what most people will call an acquired taste. Sweet is where there's some sugar, a lot of sugar. Salty, obviously, is salt. And so, understanding these things and understanding what you like, but when you mix like things like, a salt and a sweet, I never would have thought of that, but it's really good. Like, for example, chocolate-covered pretzels have a sweet and then they have a salt to them. You can add bitter and sweet. You can add bitter and salt. You can add bitter, salt, and sweet. And that has a nice taste to it, too. Really, really cool. Did you know that our taste buds, actually, we have the ability to taste over 10,000 different flavors. That's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you're enjoying sherbet, yogurt, whether you're enjoying honey, whether you're enjoying maybe some eggs, or maybe you're enjoying a chicken cordon bleu or a steak, or there's so many things you can enjoy, right? Maybe it's a chocolate chip cookie. Maybe it's a peanut butter cookie. Maybe it's pretzels. So there are lots of things. There's licorice, right? There's lots of things that we like to taste, okay? Certain drinks. Some people have an acquired taste for soda. I'm not a big soda person. I left soda many, many years ago. Soda's not good for you, but soda has a very strong flavor, and some part of soda has a bitterness to it, but because there's so much sugar in it, people like different sodas out there, like especially the dark sodas. And so when you think about bitter, we think about lemon seeds. If you bite through them, they're bitter. And sometimes kale and cucumber can be bitter as well. Not always, but sometimes. And there are many things that are bitter, ladies and gentlemen. If you want me to share some, I'd be happy to share some with you. So you've got things like espresso. You got things like lemon lime biters. You got beer. You got dark chocolate, black tea, green tea. You got dill. You got kale. You got wine. Got saffron. You've got things like arugula, Brussels sprouts. You've got cocoa, cranberry, vinegar, radicchio, chard, artichoke, thistle, asparagus, rhubarb, grapefruit. I mentioned that one. Lemon, lime, cloves, cumin. You got Campari. You got Full City roasts, Vienna roasts, French roasts, Italian roasts, Areca bean roasts. You've got things like burnt toast, lavender, oregano, cinnamon, mustard. Oh, that's really that's got a real strong bitterness to it, right? Thyme, rosemary. You've got turmeric. You've got fennel. You've got things like milk thistle. You got mint, yarrow, peppermint, wild thistle, hops, citrus. Yep. You've got marmalade, olives, tonic water, rum, bourbon. And these are just some of them, right? So I think it's good to understand that we don't want to stay away from bitter. Bitter is a good flavor if we understand how to complement it with other things. So the thing I want to end off with today is, how do we protect our taste, right? How do we protect our taste? And so there's a lot that's important to know about taste. So again, you can't see your taste buds. Taste buds aren't just in your tongue, as we said. So they are pretty cool. Everyone has a different amount of taste buds, which is also false. Everyone has basically the same. Is that true, or is that not true? Well, everyone has a different amount of taste buds, and that is actually true. So there are these things, they call them taste hairs. There are super tasters. There's lots of really cool stuff. But how do we protect our taste? How do we protect our taste? Well, one thing we can do is we can stop smoking. Don't smoke. Okay. Ensure good dental hygiene, brushing, flossing your teeth daily. Eat food that contains essential vitamins such as minerals, zincs, things like found in oysters, meat, baked beans. And there are steps that you can take to actually protect your taste. So what is the best way to protect, best way to say it, to protect our taste buds? Well, I talked about smoking, drinking alcohol. Try to stay away from that. Bacteria buildup from infections. Extremely cold or hot foods. You don't want to go right back and forth to them. Very spicy foods. It's okay to have some of it, but don't go too crazy. That's important because that can burn out your taste, but you can have a little bit, right? What heals a taste bud? Everybody's asking this. So a swollen taste bud can result from burning your tongue. Like maybe you had pizza. We've all done this. We've burnt our tongue or a roof of our mouth because the cheese, we were too excited to eat the pizza. We didn't let it wait, and it burned our mouth or our tongue, the roof of our mouth, or our tongue or something like that. Even stress can cause swollen taste buds. And it's not serious because usually they'll heal on their own in just a few days. Saltwater rinses and antiseptic mouthwashes can help ease the symptoms, but it can take a little bit of time. So realizing that your taste buds are really a gateway to allowing you to sense and experience food in a really amazing, amazing way. I mean, think of it for just a moment. If you ate something and had no taste. Well, we experienced this with COVID, right? They said one of the symptoms was, people had no taste. So what I want to tell you today is to be grateful for everything you have, including your sense to be able to taste things. Some people can't taste. And that's a really bad problem. People don't necessarily know how to handle that, but it's a serious problem. And it's something that we need to be mindful of. I think it's very important that we're mindful of it. But what do we call people who can't taste anything? Well, it's called an agnosia. Yeah. They have no taste. It's very rare. People can have a sense of this for a short period of time, or they can have it forever. And it is a disorder. But I think if we can just realize that taste is another sense that allows us to not only get in touch with the outside world, but allows us to embody it and also allows us to change our state. Did you know that taste can affect our emotions? Taste can affect our feelings. That's pretty cool, right? So humans can actually taste different emotions, like they can taste fear, happiness. And when we say taste in that way, we're more relating it to how we're feeling. Because taste also refers to people's preferences. Like, I don't like his taste. I don't like her taste when they're decorating. Or I don't like his taste in whatever it is. Or I don't like this person's taste in women and men. I didn't like this person's taste in food. I don't like this person's taste in manners or whatever it is. So our taste is a great thing. And one great game to play is with someone you trust. Have them blindfold you or close your eyes and try to sense the differences between things like a pear, an apple, a banana. Now, don't touch it with your hands. Just have it on a spoon and just, take a little bit of it and see if you can tell what it is. I think it's so cool when we realize that if we close our eyes and we focus on the sense like cinnamon or like raspberry or like pineapple, we can just embody that. We can feel that flavor more than if our eyes were open because we're concentrating on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Of course, it's a privilege, a pleasure, and honor to be with you this fantastic, amazing day. We are trying to do the shows, as you notice, more toward the early of the day instead of doing them at night. More people have been asking us to do them, so we're trying different times, seeing what works. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege being with you guys. Please do click on the QR code. Go to my page, believemeachieve.com. Be sure to like and love all my content, especially my TikTok. Be sure to follow that. And really, I'm very grateful for you guys and being on the journey with me. As our master topic, ladies and gentlemen, in case you missed it, our master topic for the whole week is understanding how our body interacts with the environment. And the granular topic for today is understanding how we taste. I hope that you got a little more insight, and I hope you will be a little more grateful for this amazing skill you have, which is tasting. And again, tasting allows us to take different things, and it gets back to the brain, and that's when we're able to report what that is. So a taste is a feeling, right, that comes into our body, but it doesn't get put there by just the buzz. The buzz have to report back, and then because of that communication back, then we get it. So it's really cool how it goes into the electrical signal. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys, you know when? Tomorrow.